What's up, everybody, and welcome back. And today we're going to be talking a little bit of All Stars 4. I'm a little late. This is episode 4. Not like anybody's counting, though. And my guest joining me today, if you're on Twitter, Challenge Twitter more specifically, you'll probably see her from time to time sharing her thoughts and opinions. Miss Shuny Shaw, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. It's great to connect with you. You're kind of like the king of the pods. Everyone's definitely excited to speak with you. So thanks for having me.
Well, self-proclaimed king, but we'll go with that for story purposes. No, but yeah, you and I have kind of been like connected for a couple years within like the fandom, and you and I have been meaning to kind of do this for a while now, so it just kind of seemed natural with this season finally coming down the pipe. And I say finally because we've been waiting kind of a while. It's interesting how it felt like us the fans for so long we're kind of like, when's this thing coming out? And now that it's actually come out, we're already 4 episodes deep, and it almost kind of feels like it's all happened so fast that I haven't even been able to really take a step back and process that we've now actually got this season. For you personally, like now that the season's actually here, we're already 4 episodes deep. Has it hit you yet that we've actually finally got this, or are you still kind of like, I guess, in shock from it?
Super excited it finally rolled out, but I think because it's like coinciding when 40 is filming, I feel it's not gotten as much of its flowers as it should have, just because it was on the shelf for so long.
Yeah, and that's a little unfortunate too because it does seem like majority, if I'm correct, of the cast that is on this is like filming 40 simultaneously. So
Hmm.
it's like it's not getting like, I feel like, the rub that it would, let's just say, if like everybody was here to promote
Yeah.
it and stuff, and that's
Yeah.
unfortunate. Because I think quality wise, I think we could all agree that so far what we've been seeing on our screens at least is like definitely what we've been kind of yearning for as challenge fans for a few
Hmm.
years now. And that's kind of my point that I'm going to bring up here first, before we get into like the episode. I want to ask you, what was like your initial, like, I guess, indoctrination, if you will, into being a challenge fan? Like, where did you kind of begin?
Old school real worlder here. Like I remember watching season 2, and I was probably like maybe 9 or 10 when like Pedro season came out, and I was just thinking, I was like, this is like nothing I've ever seen before. And then you get invested in these characters that you've been watching for 3 or 4 months on your TV, and then they come back and do these challenges, and they look so much fun, and you get to rebuild, these like relationships that you thought you had with them when you're watching them, a year or two before in their season, and you want to cheer for them, you want to cheer for their journey. So I've been an old school OG fan for a while.
Was that your favorite era, or did you have a different era that you gravitate towards?
I mean, Derek Kaczynski kind of like just has like my heart. Like
Hmm.
he's just like a pure soul,
Right.
So I would say, like, as much as people don't like the JEK era, I kind of like that era.
Well, listen, that's actually the era in which I started watching. My Imagine this. The first like thing that I think I ever saw on my screen was that fight between like Wes and the entire champions team with the ruins. Like that was literally my indoctrination. I had no idea what this was. I didn't even know the name of the show. I just walk in the room and I see this as it's happening. Could you imagine like that being like your first sort of
Were you like
if
walking in diapers or like?
a little older than that, just a little bit. Yeah, I think the diapers might have just came off the week before. Um, but no, yeah, that young age to be kind of be indoctrinated into something like that. But no, that's the point though. Is like I think why people like the All Stars too. We're seeing now is because of the personalities and like sort of being able to root for people that you can kind of know their stories and like have an attachment to. Um, and I think that's another thing too, is like, especially because I saw this too, Real World Homecoming was another thing too
Mhm.
that a lot of people kind of wish that we were getting more of. Did you catch any of those by any chance?
Watched all of them, all of them. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
my stuff. Because like when they said real world, there was nobody on there trying to be fake or trying to make a show. They were just literally being themselves, which is everything that's on this All Stars cast. And doesn't feel forced when they're doing confessionals. It doesn't feel forced for a storyline. Like they're here, they're ready to win, they're ready to play. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think a vibe I get too, because I was covering, like, I think I covered probably like about half of the most recent flagship that just ended, and then midway point, I was like, all right, I gotta just tap out here. Um, I noticed too, it's like kind of very apparent when watching it on screen, like the cast members itself, like they almost like don't even know like the show that they're on.
Hmm.
Like, and like obviously even back in the day, it's not like the cast members that we know were coming on the show like, oh, we know this is like the challenge, blah blah blah, because it's obviously evolved. But like I think like there's a certain like appreciation for the old school cast members that actually go there to play the game, whereas like on the flagship, people that don't even know like the show they're on or like have like I don't want to say respect. That wouldn't really be the word, but like they almost like don't really get the gravity of the show that they're on. So I
Hmm.
guess like that's another thing too.
I think
Um,
they're like, did I roll out of bed in Big Brother? Did I come from Survivor? Where am I?
but that's the thing is that that's probably where they're from nowadays, where
Yeah.
they are. But no, yeah. So I do want to get into this episode. But before we get into the episode itself, just to give sort of like my brief like overview, since this is obviously the fourth episode, I gotta say, and let me paraphrase before people take this my words and kind of clickbait them. Um, I think this is the most, and when I say fresh, I don't mean like this is the most stacked, best, whatever. I think this is the most fresh cast in challenge history.
Hmm.
And when I say fresh, that doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, this is the most stacked. We've seen more stacked
Yeah.
casts, but I think it's fresh in the aspect of if you just take a look at this cast as a whole, we've got people who have past relationships, people that we haven't seen on screen together in a really long time, but we've also got like returnees from like just seemingly out of nowhere, but they're all from like different eras. Like you've got Kifla, who I don't even think we've seen him since like maybe the second season of the show. Adam Larson's been such um, just a breath of fresh air. Avery, we haven't seen it forever. I mean, hell, even JG, who everybody kind of was shitting on for all those
Yeah.
years, he was
Yeah.
getting clowned on for years on Twitter. He's back, and honestly, I mean, even him, he's added his own kind of like unique sort of personality. I think everybody's come across likable too, which is for the most part. We'll get into it. But no, I'd say everybody's also come across very likable, which is very rare for a challenge season, especially this deep in. What was maybe like your opinion coming into this cast, and then seeing how it's played out? Sort of your opinion after the fact.
So hot take, JG over the whole season 39 cast. Let's just throw that like
I
out there.
mean, listen, I don't. That's not a bold take. That's actually a pretty good one. So
Um,
I would co-sign it.
as much as like at first I was like, what is Jay doing back? I still was intrigued and like really excited to see, okay, what is he going to do with this time that's been given to him? And I really feel like he's taken it and said, I'm not taking this, for granted. I love the cast. So sad to have seen, Tyree leave early again. But you want this is what I'm saying. Like you go and watch these people's real worlds and then you're cheering for them when they're on the challenge to really like redeem themselves. So I'm totally for having, somebody we haven't seen in a long time like Kifla and Flora to having, Cara back. So super, super excited.
Yeah, too. I think when the cast, because I believe you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you remember more than me, but in real time when they went to film this and like the spoilers and everything started coming out, I believe it was the beginning of last year. Like it was the beginning of 23, because they didn't release it for like a year.
I thought like, yeah, I thought they could have finished filming like October 22 or started October 22. So that's why we had the spoilers. But no, thanks, gamer. Always. Thanks, gamer.
Yeah, like when I remember when this thing first, like the spoilers started coming out of who was on the show, whatever. Everybody at first was like, they were. I think everybody was like confused. They thought this was like a fantasy cast because some of these were like really surprising. Like Jay you just said, like Kifla, Adam Larson's another one. Even Avery was a surprise, which I mean, I think she was one of those. people. Shout out to Alan because he was like the flag bearer for her for a while of wanting her to come back.
I
Um,
definitely think with Derek Chavez and Ryan, they probably put, maybe some stuff in producers' ears to get her on.
I mean, she
And she
was a
was
great.
great.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed
Yeah.
her first stint. Like I think because she was on X's 2, and then like was briefly on Rivals 3, so it was basically like one. I don't even know if you can call it 1.5 season. It was like one and like a quarter of a season. Um, she kind of was involved in that like Johnny Riley
Really,
storyline,
yeah.
so we didn't really get to see like Avery. She was more or less like an attachment of Johnny because Johnny had I think done a season already at that point and
Mhm.
made it far. So now we're kind of getting to see her sort of spread her wings. And spoiler alert, in real time, her and Adam are actually a couple now. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's going to be a big storyline in the coming episodes. We're going to see that
Mhm.
unfold. One thing, too, about this daily challenge. Um, and you could probably attest to this from the last few flagship shows that you've seen. There was definitely like on the flagship, there's been like a big shift when it comes to the challenges. It kind of felt like um they were relying a lot on like those big moving trucks and like the explosion stuff. And I think like a lot of the fans were kind of like, we're not like here for this because it felt like
Mhm.
very like spy themed and just like a parody sort of. But I like that on All Stars, while they're still doing that with the like the cars and stuff, they incorporate I think like a more fun element to it, especially with this daily challenge. We saw that, but the teams had to solve a maze sort of. So I think that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I think this challenge though really showed who was going to be a really good leader and who was going to follow, right? So Steve was definitely saying that he liked to be on top. Totally fine.
I love Steve. He's funny.
He has good little sound bites, but I think like, the leaders really emerge, and to make a really good challenge and to win, you have to know your place on whatever team you're on, because every day the daily challenge changes. So I think someone who's able to go in there, so obviously we see that Cam did really well, we see the Laurel did really well, but I think it's also really showing you who is able to take a backseat and say, hey, this is not my forte, I'm just going to follow. And I think you have to have that kind of mentality to win daily challenges sometimes.
What are you a fan of in terms of like, are you a fan of like the big team formats, or are you more of a individual, or even a pair for that matter?
I like when it starts off as teams and then it ends up individual.
Okay, so okay, I think I'm more like, I like contradict myself all the time because I say that I'm like, I tell people I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm very into pairs, and then like I go and ramble about how I loved Cutthroat. So
But I don't like that there's only one winner at the end. Like I'd rather it
oh.
always be one male and one female, always.
No, nah, I'm fully in that camp. There's been a couple times actually, just off the top of my head, All Stars won. Kelly, and I don't know if it would have been like a tie or if they would have broken it up somehow, but we definitely should have had either Kellyanne or John A as like
Yep,
a co-winner on All Stars 1. Uh,
100%.
yeah, so that's unfortunate because as a big Kellyanne fan myself, I really want her to win one day.
Well, maybe she'll get her chance coming up soon.
Yeah, we'll see, I guess. Where are you in the camp of like the stars thing? Because I'm pretty confused a little bit so far about like how the whole thing with like going and stealing somebody's star works. I mean, maybe you kind of digested it a little better than I did, but for me, I'm getting like instant flashbacks to like Double Agents and Total Madness with the whole going down and getting your skull thing.
I don't like it at all. And I think like at the end, if they're just gonna do a purge and then be like, okay, well everyone just goes in and wins. If you win, you get a star. Like, is it really gonna mean anything at the end? Are you really only gonna have three guys and three girls, or is it gonna change? I don't know. But I don't like the fact that at the end, I know we're going fast forwarding a little bit. At the end, Cara had two. And what I didn't understand was how come she couldn't have given it to a male? I thought he said you could give it to a male or a female.
Yeah, you can. Or at least that's what it looked like last episode.
Mm-hmm. So I was confused, like, well, if I'm being Cara and all those girls did me dirty, I'm gonna give it to a guy.
Who would you have given it to if you were in Cara's shoes?
Um, I wouldn't have given it to Jazzy. I would have given it to Veronica. Only because,
Does she have because I didn't Rachel give Tina's star to her, but you could have two stars, right?
oh yeah, so I would have given it to Tina to get like myself insulated with some kind of alliance
Mm-hmm.
because you already know Jazzy doesn't want you there. So, and she's, kind of had not the best luck with Cam so far. So, if I would have had to pick a girl, I would have tried to insulate myself with some kind of alliance.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I would have gone.
Yeah, this Cara and Cam thing has been picking up a lot of debate, so to speak, on social media too. I want to know where you lie in this whole thing because for me, and I'm not just saying this because, Cara has been good to me over the years, but I feel like what Cara has done in this situation, from my interpretation, isn't as bad as Cam's making it out to seem. Because if you just flash forward a couple years ago, Cam on her last season that she did with Leroy on Double Agents made it very clear that, with all due respect for you, I might be friends with some of you, but we're doing anything and everything that it takes for us to win. And they made like some pretty cutthroat moves on that season. No pun intended that I just brought up the season cutthroat like 5 seconds ago. But they made some pretty cutthroat moves on that season to get her and Leroy to the final. So now like as we flash forward to like right now, when she's making like a sort of a big stink about Cara, it was because yeah, she wanted Cara to vote Rachel and Ayana last episode, and she didn't vote for Rachel.
Hmm.
I don't really see the big issue, especially considering the votes were already like gonna have Rachel going against Ayana anyway. So I don't know why Cara would have really needed to like say a name anyway if you got the vote you wanted. So I don't really see the problem right now. Is it just me?
No, Team Cara on this all the way. I've always been Team Cara. Just throwing that out there. But I think that it also depends on when the vote was because of the edit. So
Mm-hmm.
she got her way either way. So even if Cara was the end vote, which is how we saw it on the show, or whether she was the beginning, Cam still got her way. So I don't see why she's like harping on it, number one. But number two, this is the one time where I'm like, Cam's usually 2 and 3 and 4 steps of everybody. And I feel like she's playing it only one step and she's not seeing like full picture. And that's usually just not her. So,
Well, I'll say this. She's got a really good way of explaining things because even though I don't agree with her, the way she explains it in the confessionals, like it takes me a little bit to think about it where I'm like she just convinced me like her side and I like don't agree
mhm.
with it. I think Alan tweeted that actually the other day about how
But
like
she still got her way. So then what is she upset about? And she doesn't have a star.
mhm,
So I just, they all say don't take it personally, and everybody
everybody takes
takes
it.
it personally.
Wait,
Yeah.
except who you said?
No, everybody takes it personally.
Oh, okay. I thought you
Yeah.
said except somebody. That was the thing too with Tina and Rachel. Like, not as big of a situation, but Rachel got like pretty ticked off that Tina said her name, and that was another situation too where Rachel was going in no matter what. Like, yeah, I know, like just the sheer mention of your name by somebody that you think's close to you is gonna like sting a little bit, but like still another thing there is like Rachel was already going in anyway, and Tina probably didn't want to get any blood on her hands by saying a different name, so. I don't know. These people are claiming to not take things personally, and then, like you said, everybody's seemingly
Yeah. See, in Tina's situation, I would have thrown 2 wild card names because when
burn
did Tina
votes.
play with Flora? Like, like who cares? Like,
Nobody played before.
yeah. And so that one didn't make any sense to me at all.
The Tina Rachel thing.
Why Tina would even vote for Rachel? Rachel was already going in. She knew she was the last person to say anything, so she easily could have walked out of that vote and said, "Hey, I did burn votes on whoever," and I don't think she would have gotten anything really
I would have
back.
just voted if I was in her shoes. I would have said myself, meaning her, and Flora.
Yeah,
No,
there you
no
go.
harm, no foul.
Yeah.
Um, What do you think? Because honestly, from what I'm seeing so far, I think actually we're getting a pretty good version, at least from like an entertainment standpoint, of Jasmine thus far. Like, I think we're getting some vintage Rivals One, X's One type Jasmine here. What do you think?
And I preface this again with I love Cara, but I love Jazzy too. Everything that she did, I'm not upset at her wanting to get a Titan out of the gate. That makes complete sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
We
and Jazzy's been great in confessionals, great up. She's like the tiniest little woman, and I do feel like she stands tall. When she says something, she means something.
Yeah, no, we need those types of cast members on the show though. We can't just have like everybody just be like this like big physical threat. We need like those um like more than meets the eye, like sort of underdoggy type of like people that could deliver in confessionals, you know. Um and Jasmine's certainly bringing that. Um I saw another debate too when it came to like the elimination itself between Rachel and Cara, because at least from the way I viewed it, we basically got like a glorified like dart competition between Cara and Rachel. Like, what the hell was that?
I was watching this whole episode like salivating because I thought it was such a good episode. Jazzy stands out, Cara stands out, Rachel stands out. So I'm like getting prepared for this great battle just to be let down. Like it was boring.
We should have gotten, I think, I mean, it's hard to predict, obviously, like if you're a producer, because who knows like what the eliminations are going to be week to week. I would have loved to have gotten the elimination that we got last week with Ayana and Rachel, with
Yes.
Cara and Rachel.
Oh yeah, that'd have been great. That would have been really, really good.
Which I mean, I don't like not everything has to be like a headbanger, but like at least have like some level of like not physicality, but like some level like it actually requires like because like me or you could have just stood there and like like did that elimination. Like it doesn't really prove anything, you know?
Well, and it because they're such like physical specimens, like you want to do a physical, elimination between the two of them, and it's unfortunate that we won't see that.
Yeah, because that was another like sort of like I guess you could say like dream matchup amongst fans of like things that we don't know if we were ever gonna get. Like
Hmm.
Rachel, like this was her first season that she did since X is one. Like that's a long time away. And who knows if we'll ever see her again. And then
Yeah, definitely.
Cara, who knows if we'll ever see her again, considering we haven't seen her
Hmm.
since what five no War of the Worlds 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm trying to brush up on my history here. It's been a while.
Okay. Or even like a balls in would have been fun, like just something. But this was such a total letdown.
hmm Well, speaking of letdowns, we had the ongoing saga between Laurel and Nicole. Where do you what are your feelings about seeing? Is this something like a storyline that interests you at all, or do you?
On a scale of like 1 to 10, gag-o-meter, it's like off the charts. I am so
Mhm.
sick of them. Like the only thing that entertains me is the fallout via Twitter. Like I don't want to see it on TV, but I want to see what Laurel writes on Twitter because that's what's entertaining.
Yeah, no, like that's the thing too, is I think I just told somebody this. I think I said like if I didn't know Nicole like from watching her on TV and I just like I don't know met her out at like a bar or something, I'm sure I would have a fun time hanging out with her because from what I've interpreted by all accounts, she's like definitely like she's like one of the bros sort of like she's a great wing
Wing
person.
woman. Yep, wing
Yep.
woman material for
But
sure.
to watch her on TV and sort of like from what we know at least of like how that relationship sort of went with her and Laurel, it's definitely not the most appealing thing to watch, I'll say.
Yeah. Isn't there a song called like The Toxicity of Our City? Like I feel like I'm playing that song in my head every single time they're on TV together.
I don't know, you're the song person. You just went to a concert. You know better than me.
Yeah.
Well, um, I guess now I kind of want to ask. what are some of your favorite seasons? Not to get too off topic, but I just wanted to kind of gain your sort of perspective.
I'm not a person like I don't have like an Alan type memory. Like
Oh,
I
okay.
can't I obviously like I know like Battle of the Exes and things like that, but I remember seasons better like of who won. So I'll
Mm,
tell you the seasons of people who won, and then you tell me what season it was.
okay.
So I loved Cara winning by herself.
Vendettas, yeah.
I loved Dirty 30. I remember that one.
Oh, not great winners, but yeah.
Not great winners, but I loved like the season.
Yeah.
What was the season where the girls threw the clothing over the
That
balcony?
was, oh my, I loved that season. I don't care what anybody says. I love
Oh,
that season.
such drama. Like great. I love both Fresh Meats. I think those are probably like some of the best ones we've ever had.
Yeah, no. So were you in the because I came a little bit after that. I think like 2020 is really where I came into like Challenge Twitter. So you were in Challenge Twitter then during that time period where like they threw the balcony or the stuff over
Yeah,
the balcony?
I want to say I was on Challenge Twitter maybe 2016, 2017.
So yeah, right around
Yeah.
there, yeah. I came in around like probably around like the pandemic time, to be honest with you.
I was already an established
Yeah,
person.
you were an elder statesman by that point. Well, I mean, for those that don't know, I think another reason why I brought you here is because you're a Scream fan. So that was another big driving point,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which that entire thing has kind of gone up in smoke
Oh my
since.
God. I
Yeah.
guess that was the only way to bring Nev back. I
Did you see too Scary Movie? I don't know if you're a Scary Movie fan. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like
Yeah, they're
this
remaking
spook.
or they're gonna keep it going. Yeah.
They're bringing the next one back. What do you think
But
about that?
you can't watch Scary Movie now through the lens of today. You have to be I think I was like maybe like in junior high or high school when those movies came out. So completely different era me watching it through that lens.
Hmm.
And then I tried watching it and I don't want to put the filter of 2024 on because you can't enjoy half the things from our childhood anymore.
No, you have to suspend your disbelief with those
Yes,
movies.
yes, for sure. But I love those movies. I love scary movies. I love obviously the screams. So sad to see Jenna Ortega go. Like that was sad, but Nev is a great final girl.
This is gonna probably be her first, like, I would say, probably since like maybe the fourth one, since she's been like I guess the lead girl. Because the last, oh no, she didn't do the last one, but the one before that, she kind of just came in
Hmm.
the end for like the final act. So
Yeah.
she'd be a star again. Um, so far for this season, who have you kind of gravitated towards when you're just watching this, maybe somebody that you didn't expect to come in and enjoy, like you kind of went in from like maybe their previous times and was like and then you came in and came out liking them after these first four episodes?
I'm like for the males, I'm loving Jay. Like I do. Like he's probably like my top. And I think in the past it would have been Leroy. Um, but I'm not a person that likes people who say they retire, then unretire, then retire. Like that just drives me like cuckoo bird. Like
It's like
if you're
Brett Favre, if you've been there. You've lived it.
exactly, I hate it. I don't like it. So I'm actually cheering for Jay on the male side. On the female side, definitely was cheering on Tina and Cara. Those are probably my two.
Yeah, I really don't have any complaints thus far, honestly, about most people. I mean, yeah, sure, some of the camp stuff's a little like annoying, but that's not enough to like make me like actively like root against them. Um,
Did you see the like it was like the five maybe like 3 second little TikTok thing that they did where they changed clothes and then boom they were at the
oh
challenge?
my God.
What was that? Like I thought I was like that's so random.
Did you see my quote tweet? I don't know if you did.
No. Uh-uh.
Because I didn't watch the video. I saw, I think I quoted Mark Long because Mark Long had said something or maybe posted it. I saw the video without like pressing play.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if your mind's gonna like register like what I'm about to say, but I said, wow, I just got a brain fart. I said that without clicking on the video, I thought that they were reenacting the Duel 2 intro. Do you know the one I'm
Yes, I
talking
know what you're
about?
talking about, but my mind didn't go there, but I totally get it. I can see that. I can see that.
What was the video again? They like were all like outside in the yard or something, and
They
then
were
they were.
outside like in regular clothes, and
Hmm.
then when they hop back into frame, they're at the challenge in their challenge clothes.
Okay, I mean, listen, I'm a little bit like cheeky like that, like videos like that. I don't. I think that's kind
No,
of
I don't.
funny.
I just thought it was just like completely random in the middle of the episode, like out of just no. I hadn't seen an edit done like that before, so
Listen, they're trying new stuff.
yeah.
Can't knock them for it. I actually, believe it or not, I'm for the girls thus far. I've actually gravitated towards Flora. Um, I didn't expect this Flora that we were gonna see because you know, obviously her real world season was like way back. But like I was able to kind of because I interviewed her 2 years ago. Like she had been off the grid for a while, and like I interviewed her, and
Hmm.
not to sound like a complete narcissist, but I do partially take credit for kind of bringing her back,
Yeah, you
back
brought it back into the fold.
into
Yeah.
the spotlight. And
Did she send you some of her appearance check fees or?
I'd have to go check the mailbox once we can hop off on this call, but I'll
You should check.
definitely I'll definitely shoot you a DM once I
Okay.
tell you what I find. Um,
Check for the check.
yeah, I mean it's the least I deserve. I definitely feel like when I interviewed her, and especially from seeing like her in the past, she definitely had a lot more of like a sharp tongue. Like she was getting into like conflicts and stuff. She's actually come into this like pretty friendly and honestly playing like I don't know if it's like intentional, but she's playing like a really deceptively good social game right now where it kind of
Hmm.
feels like everybody's hanging out with her and enjoying her company.
Yeah.
Like it's
Or do they feel like she's someone that they could easily beat? I don't know.
you know what I think it is? She's like sort of like Beth without the baggage.
Ooh, that's a good take.
Cuz
Yeah.
think about it. If Beth could just stay out of trouble, I'm sure a lot of people would carry her to the final.
I mean, Beth's middle name is Trouble, so
Really? That's what her birth certificate says?
yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Well, you know better than me. I should have asked her this when I interviewed her. No, but guys too. We mentioned Adam, Steve, Jay. Jay got like a bad rap, I think, his first time around because people saw with like not to beat a dead horse, but yeah, like he quit the final or whatever. He didn't drink the drink, but I think he got like this term of being like a layup. But
Hmm.
X's too. Him and Jenna never came last in any challenges. Like they never had to see an elimination because they never lost.
Yeah.
So I mean, they weren't like the best, but they never
Mhm.
lost. So I feel
Yeah.
like the term layup was a little bit kind of just thrown around too, like maybe undeserving.
Agreed. And obviously, he's been middle of the pack here too. So,
Hmm.
hmm.
Avery and Adam both too are doing really well in the daily challenges, which I
Hmm.
actually was not expecting. I kind of was under the assumption like it was kind of be like going to be like the Carl, Laurel, Rachel show. Avery's been doing really
Yeah.
good.
Hmm. I think if she makes it to the final, she might be a really strong, cardio beast in that.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing too. Is like usually the finals isn't really about like who's like the strongest. It's kind of about like who could just kind of go the furthest and like
Right.
carry their own weight. Um, we might as well talk about it too, since this is a popular talking point on Twitter. Did you see um, what the supposed All Stars 5 situation looks like at the moment?
Um, I've seen that it's going to be like people that were just recently on 39, and so that does not rub me the right way at all.
Well, yeah, because based on like what I saw, it kind of almost feels like not even like the All Stars that we're used to. It almost just feels like they're using like All Stars as sort of like just the spin-off for people that aren't getting cast on the regular show.
Right, right. I don't know if the only thing that I can think of that may be a factor is if OG people are wanting to get paid and these newbies are like, pay me whatever you want to pay me. I still live at home with mom and dad. So it's the only thing I can think of.
You make a good point because, that's the main reason why a lot of these OGs weren't coming back to begin with is because they have like either kids, lives, just, like they need incentive to go. Whereas a lot of these newer, younger kids, this pretty much is like their life.
Right.
With all due respect,
Yeah.
respectfully.
But seriously, if they don't have a mortgage, or anything like that, then it's a much, much easier call and it's way cheaper for them.
hmm If you had the pen right now for All Stars 5 and if you were making the casting calls, who is like somebody that we haven't seen yet on any of the All Star seasons that you um you can name a few names if you want. Who would you put on the show if you had the call?
Dunbar is for sure. Like somebody like he brings like everything to the show. He hooks up with randos. He does pretty well in the challenges. He can make it semi far. He can cause some drama. So like Dunbar is definitely one of the people that I wanted to see back.
I appreciate you taking that burden off my shoulders because like I've had quite the infatuation with Dunbar, and a lot of people actually give me flack for it. They're like, "Oh, what's so great about Dunbar?" I'm like, "There's something unspoken about somebody who could just read a room. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what it is. You've got your Johnnies, who are like outgoing and they give you your thoughts and everything. For some reason, I always gravitate towards the ones where they don't really initially give like their thoughts and everything. I'm like, I wonder what Dunbar has to say about this.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
So definitely Dunbar. And I mean, I know it's popular, but Ev, like we've been missing her on the challenge
mhm.
so much. Like those would be like my top two to
The
come back.
thing with Evelyn too is not many people realize this because she started the show when she was so young. She's like literally the same age as Nani's Casey.
Hmm.
Like, cause she started very young. I think her first season was freshman one, and she was like 18.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to cast any more furniture. Let's just not even put that in the conversation.
Aside from the ones that
Move
the
on.
that the guys are bringing in for the cast to sit on, that's the only furniture we need.
Yeah. She's super
Respectfully,
nice. Like super nice. It's just I don't want nice on the challenge. I want jazzy on the challenge.
yeah. It's draft night, obviously. We
Hmm.
talked about Brett Favre a couple moments ago.
Hmm.
Are you going to be tuning into this? Where's like your head at as far as the draft goes?
I like to be surprised, to be honest. Like I go with the flow with my team, and once my
hmm
team is set, I'm cheering them on. I'm sad, Simone Biles' husband was on my team. Jonathan Owens was a
Oh,
Packer.
really? Oh,
Yeah, and he's no longer there. He went to the
oh
Bears,
no.
so that's just like
Oh
the
no.
worst place you could go
Oh
to, being a Packers fan. So once like we have our team set, then I have my new players to cheer for because I'm not a big college fan.
no, me neither. I don't know what it is. Everybody around me is a big college fan. I've never been able to kind of get into it, but I'm like a bandwagon college fan because I'm a Michigan fan, and so like
Okay,
and they won this year, so
okay,
yeah.
all right.
So no, I'm like the thing is like even when it comes to the draft, like there's like all this excitement around it. I never usually like watch it, I don't think. Like I kind of just see like what's
Yeah,
what from afar, and then like once the season starts, I'm like locked in. But like
yeah.
off season is like decompression time.
Off season, I'm catching up on my reality shows.
So what other reality shows other than The Challenge?
I didn't think I was gonna like this season of The Circle, but I've really been liking this season of The Circle.
Interesting.
So yeah,
Is that on like actual cable or is that on like on streaming?
it's on Netflix.
I got you. Okay.
You haven't
Well,
seen it before?
nope, never.
Oh my God. It's a bunch of people living in their own like apartments, and you get to create an avatar or profile, and you have to figure out if you're talking to a real person or a catfish, and then you vote somebody out, weekly. And at the end, you win $100,000. And then you meet the people and see, like, I could have been talking to Mike Lewis, but maybe you were Casey the whole time.
Wow,
So
it
you
sounds like
can
a
pretend to
nightmare
be.
scenario.
It's such a fun show, and I'm explaining it terribly, but it's a fun reality show. It's a quick watch too.
Sounds like a Tinder plot.
Yes, yes, it definitely could be. Definitely could be.
Okay. Wow. All right. Then I might have to check this thing out. I appreciate you hopping on here, though. I know this was like,
Yeah,
what, 40 minutes, but I didn't really come with like a whole plan. Like I said, I'm not really like a recap guy, but no, I just wanted to kind of hop on, shoot the breeze,
yeah.
kind of catch up with some of my
See each other
audience
kind of face to face.
for the first time. It's been a couple
Yeah,
of years, right?
yeah.
But
Well, I will let you know when I'm out there the next time. I'm hoping it'll be probably next May.
right, because you were here last May, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
I take the fall for that one. I'm pretty sure
Yep.
you were out and about, and I was
Yep.
babysitting, so.
Yes. Yes.
On the
You.
one, it was like lightning strike once that time. Like that never happened again. It just so happened that the one time you were here.
Yep. I was literally across country, but I might go out there maybe Christmas time. We'll see. You
Well,
never
I
know.
was about to say that's the time you should be coming out here anyway, because New York City during May compared to Christmas time is like it's way better during Christmas time.
I mean, I'll go out there for Mariah Carey concert.
Is that's why the concert? Okay, that's yeah. There you go. It's a
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah. So I've seen her at Madison Square Garden twice. Yeah. So.
During Christmas time or just in
Hmm.
general? Mm.
Yeah. Yep.
That sounds fun. Yeah, no, because May, I mean, like, it might not be that you might not be that phased by it because what you're West Coast, so like you're usually hot weather year round. If I'm correct.
Arizona's always freaking hot, pretty much.
Yeah. So during May over here, New York City is like it's like obviously really big. You've been there. It's like really busy, and so like you're kind of just like bunched, especially during rush hour. You're like bunched in and stuff, and like it gets like very sweaty and like hot really quick. So I don't like being there during like the spring and summertime, but during the
Yeah,
Christmas, I mean, that's straight out of a Hallmark movie.
it really is. It's beautiful.
And I'm very into cheesy Hallmark movies, so won't hear any complaints out of me.
So you need to do the podcast on your next Hallmark movie.
Uh, yeah, well, you just gave me the idea, so now I might have to. But yeah, definitely do let me know next
Yeah,
time around this neck of the woods, and I appreciate you hopping on here again. We'll have to do it
yeah.
sometime in the future.
Sounds good.
Alrighty, take it
Bye.
easy.